Like, did you ever meet seemingly straight guys who are curious about being with a guy?
All the time. But then,
Oh,
so they're so horned up, they need to get blown usually, or and muck around, do something, touch another guy. But the moment it's done, you're out, and you see the wall come up, and they're no longer, once they've blown their load, they just go back to, and then the shame comes in, and sometimes that's where the homophobia comes through, because they're so ashamed that it swings the other way, and then they want to bash a gay because they would really want to
mm.
bash the gay out of themselves.
This is Dr. Andrew Rimby. Thanks for joining us here in the Ivory Tower Boiler Room. If you don't know, you can get all of our episodes ad free on Patreon, patreon.com/Ivory Tower Boiler Room. All of Mary's true crime episodes ad free, video episodes ad free from the ITBR interviews. Also, follow us on Instagram, please. Ivory Tower Boiler Room. I like to put a lot of exciting arts and culture clips from the podcast, you know, TV shows, films that we've discussed. TikTok is Dr. Andrew Rimby. Long story. The Ivory Tower Boiler Room one got taken off by TikTok because it was too salacious and scandalous, in my opinion. But I might be just having an Oscar Wilde complex there, thinking, that I was causing such a sensation on TikTok. So please rate us on Apple. It really, really helps. Review us. If you're on Spotify, you can rate us there too. YouTube, please follow our YouTube channel. Please like the video, share it with your friends, your community. The only way that I can keep giving you all free, exciting podcast episodes is because of the reach of the podcast. So, rating us, reviewing us, it really, really does help. Also, shout out to Sean, our intern, who, if you see the cover art, you see the edits of the podcast, that's all Sean. So, amazing work by Sean. So, I hope you all enjoy this episode. But yeah,
But I
sorry,
was
as
gonna,
you were saying about the Panzer plotter. Yeah.
so eventually, what happened was, just before COVID, I'd sat down. No, first of all, I'd read a book, How to Write a Novel for Dummies. How embarrassing! But it
Oh,
was great because it told me what I learned from the most was structuring a book. So I found out I was probably a plotter.
yep.
So I sat down I filled a tumbler full of ice, and I filled the glass with vodka, and I put it on Tame Impala, and I just drank, and I did the plot. So chapter one, Dylan runs away. Okay. Chapter two, Dylan's on the road. Chapter three, well, he can't be on the road for 6 8 weeks. It's going to take him to go. So how would I have to do it? So, and that's how the plot sort of came out. And then by 4 hours, I had the whole novel structured, and the
Wow.
glass of vodka was empty. Um,
But
and
you
then
also had been sitting on it for so long, you said that it's like
I
it was all there. You just had to just dedicate
learn it
yourself to
out.
finish. Yeah.
Exactly. So that was that process. And then a few people at work I'd sort of showed it to as an idea, and they were like, got really into the idea and said, "Oh, that's going to sound like a great book." So then COVID struck, and then I thought, "Shit, this is my one chance, probably with my ADHD, to knock it out." So I knocked the whole novel out in 35 days. I
That's
did one chapter a
amazing.
day, and I didn't get out of bed. And I used the plot points to go,
Yeah.
so I didn't get out of bed. I did the whole thing, two finger on my iPad, and I didn't get out of bed until the chapter was done. And then I then obviously I like read the next morning. I'd read what I just written,
Hmm.
and quickly. I didn't edit much at all because I knew if I started editing, I'd get obsessed. So, and then I just wrote chapter two and chapter three, and so yeah, by the first 35 days of COVID, I'd had the novel written, but I edited it
Yeah.
for 18 months. I went over and over again. Obviously, blew out plot points better and so on. But I had the whole structure done, the
Yeah.
whole novel done.
No, thanks for detailing that, Dallas, because I feel like some people think that Stephen King's on writing is like gospel, which, yeah, he can write every day. He has like a real rigid structure, but like not every writer has the same structure. And, you know, um, that's okay. Like, you
I
know,
think you definitely have to
yeah.
set yourself. You can't let yourself go. There's somewhere if you've got
Hmm.
you got to work with your personality. But I find if you're waiting for inspiration, like most authors, they're waiting,
Yeah,
and it never comes. So it is 10% inspiration, 90% perspiration. I don't know. For me, I've got to knock the thing out real quick.
yeah,
But then you got all the time in the world to edit it, because once you've got the finished product, you can tamper with it all you like. But sometimes we can sabotage ourselves and then
Yeah.
change ideas if it goes on too long, and then we just write ourselves to a corner and then it goes nowhere.
Yeah. Well, this is why academic writing or just being in academia, um, there's like a real perfectionist attitude that can exist that people um want to keep reading and reading and reading sources. And that's where it's like, I'm always interested, like, are there any authors that you feel like you've inherited their voice, like Andrew Holleran, or like, is there any like authors you kind of consumed and then, yeah, wanted
Ro-
to maybe aspire to like
Robert
understand their
Cormier.
work?
So he was a
Who?
New Robert Cormier. He was a
Oh,
New England writer.
yes. Okay,
He was
okay.
probably my biggest influence because he didn't sugarcoat anything at all. He just put the characters into very real and extreme positions. And his voice, he's a beautiful writer. I mean, he's passed now, but he was intimate, I think, and that brings me back to that that New England area that's closer to Europe, and I think that's
Yeah.
why I enjoyed his writing the most. Um, Neville Shute, weirdly enough, a British writer, his
Ah,
storytelling is kind of simple, and I like that. I'm probably not a complex writer in terms of style
mhm.
in any way. I wouldn't claim that. But then I wrote a book that I like to read, and I love to just binge a book. Ideally, I mean, I do love books
Yes.
that
Yes.
challenges as well, of course. But my favorite style is just to binge a book in
Yeah.
3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and not all writers are readers, and not all readers are writers. I mean, most
yeah,
writers are readers. Most readers aren't writers.
exactly. They want sometimes they want to be, and they think I've got it. And most people have a novel in them.
Yeah.
And I'm always encouraging people. I meet people all the time for coffee who want to know more. I'm happy to give my time
That's
to
so
them. But
nice. Yeah.
no one I know has actually finished a book because they like the idea of it. And I'll give them what I know, but what works for me may not work for say you. Especially with academia, I'll get that because I've got 5 other books on the go that are all nonfiction. And at some point you've got to like just go end of that topic and write it and then move on. And you have to be really hard on yourself. It's
Yeah.
like a banking.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's the hardest part for academics to um make a mainstream kind of book, like a nonfiction book. Someone actually I'm interviewing right after, it'll be the next episode is
I know.
Rebecca Davis's Fierce Desires about sex and sexuality in America.
I love the
And
cover.
yeah, I know, yeah, it's cool with the lips. But like it reminds me of Lisa Rinna's lips. I don't know if you know who Lisa Rinna is. Oh,
No, not a
Beverly
fan.
Hills Housewives.
Oh, that's
Wait,
so
doesn't
not my lane.
Australia they have housewives, right?
Yeah, not my TV channel. No way.
Oh,
I would hang myself by the balls and watch anything like that. Sorry,
I
no
love the
offense.
like petty drama because I'll just like do laundry or something. Or no, I'll like work and just hear it on.
My sister is obsessed with that, so I get
Really?
the highlights reel, I guess, from her.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but I think, what's interesting too that like you're talking about with this style, like the academics who can write for the public, it's like eventually you realize, okay, I have to chart my own voice and I'm going to make mistakes. Like, you know, if you get like real big statistic wrong or something, like Naomi Wolf did that when she did, I don't know if you know who Naomi Wolf is, but
Heard of her.
yeah, she wrote like the beauty myth, and was like known as the third wave feminist,
Oh, yeah.
voice, I guess. But like, um, then during the pandemic, she just made statements about like not wearing masks, and it got
Yeah. Get
quickly.
the J.K. Rowling. Yeah.
Yeah, she got deplatformed quickly. But I had a lot of conversations with her one on one, and I really admire like she's a trained journalist, but like she does cultural journalism, so she kind of like does make um
Strong statements, like bold statements.
strong statements that people could think are fictional, like, or she just takes like one real strong statement and sensationalizes, which I think can be interesting in nonfiction, but you, the reader, have to know this isn't reality. Like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
is this like a novel now, right? Which, like, did you know, okay, I'm always like, my experiences are going to make their way into a novel, not a memoir.
yeah. I mean, yeah, this was and this isn't memoir, like a semi-autobiographical, my book, in
Yeah.
that I draw on all the experiences. I certainly draw on real characters and use them as a basis for creating those other characters. And I knew that time. I set it back in a time that I was intimately familiar with. Um, in that way, it was semi-autobiographical, but story-wise,
Mm.
like I ran away from home when I was 21, which isn't really running away in the true sense. But I did want to run away when I was 15, and I had
Yeah.
a whole plot. I was going to ride at night, sleep at day, and ride my way across Australia to Sydney because I'd seen a
Wow.
documentary called Kids of the Cross that came out in '83, and it showed these homeless kids living in squats in King's Cross, and they were running around. And I didn't want to live their life, but I was fascinated by it. These kids at 15 had independent lives away from their parents and making their own decisions. And
Mm.
growing up as a Jehovah's Witness,
Yeah.
knowing that I was gay, knowing that if I came out, everyone in my community and my family would all reject me. I started fantasizing about like leaving, and it couldn't make it happen though because I was very close to my mum, even though she was the first one to throw me under the bus.
Yeah.
In the end, as I knew would happen, but I kind of delayed that inevitability. So I imagined what it'd be like for a 15-year-old to get on a bike and run away, and then I
Mm.
guess, and then it kind of followed my life at that period somewhat from 1990 to 93 when I was 21 to 24.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like, and this handsome man on the cover, well, young, I don't want to be like inappropriate, but,
Oh,
a
well,
young adult man. Yeah.
he ends up as nearly 19 years old by the end of the
Okay,
novel.
okay,
So,
okay. So he's of age. Okay, good. Because that's all I need. But I think that when you like knew you were gonna have a 15-year-old, like which direction did you want to take? Like, did you know you were gonna reach a certain point of the age, or you weren't gonna stay stuck in like call me by your name?
no, I didn't. It's strange because growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, and I'm not knocking the lot. I'm not knocking them as a religion almost
Hmm.
because it actually kept me safe from a lot of things and delayed. I guess if I'd got into stuff earlier, it might have been affected more by party drugs, for example.
Mm.
Um, but I don't. I think I was always going to something was going to happen. I was desperately wanting to make a career as a Jehovah's Witness. Like they encouraged me to leave school at 15, even though I had really high grades. So I did to go full time preaching. But then I got depressed, and then I lost the one part time job I had because it was really only a Christmas job. And then
Mm.
I was at home, and then Dad, who wasn't a Jehovah's Witness, he made me go out and get a job as a 16-year-old. And then I had
Wow.
money coming in, and then I had independence. But I was living this sort of parallel life where one hand I wanted to be,
Mm.
go to maybe Australian headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses and work there or become a missionary. On the other
Mm.
hand, I had this parallel life of a gay person, and I had no idea what that meant or how I'd live. Both promised paradise in a way. Jehovah's Witnesses are a literal paradise on earth, coming out as the paradise of freedom, of true
Yeah.
freedom,
Yeah.
whatever that means. And that's, I guess, what the book explores. But at some point, yeah, by 21, I couldn't make them both work, and I was
Mm.
swinging like a really strong metronome one way to the other. I was having secret gay sex in sex clubs, and then going preaching the next morning
Wow.
against that type of thing, until I couldn't. Obviously, something had to give. So it meant me going to Sydney, and within a few weeks, I had cut association with Jehovah's Witnesses and moved house and become anonymous and cut my family off because I knew that
Mm.
they'd cut me off. So I couldn't handle them cutting me off. So I felt more powerful by cutting them off. And that for
Yeah.
2 years, it probably became like a missing person, and they had to find me
Wow.
through TV show and
Yeah.
national newspapers.
Yeah. Wait, do you still have a relationship? Is that okay to ask with your
Oh no,
family
yeah,
or?
no, they not no, they don't. The witness. So out of the three sisters I have, one's no longer a witness. So it's my mum and two sisters. They wait for me to contact them. They won't
Mm.
contact me. So it's what relationship I want to make of it
Yeah.
is worked out at the moment. So, but for a while they did literally cut me off, and I don't know. It's been ebbing and flowing, and it's
Yeah.
like a. They talk about PTSD, like but post traumatic is great because it means that the trauma has ended. Right, you post it,
Mm.
and you can move on. Religious trauma syndrome disorder is different because it's ongoing. It's like a wound that never heals. Because every time you contemplate any kind of relationship with your parents who are still alive or your sisters, you know that they're not going to talk to you or want to talk to you or volunteer to talk to you. So you're just dealing with that constantly, constant rejection reminders, which is
Mm.
doable. In the end, you can
Yeah.
like cope with anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tough though. I mean, And like I don't really I know a little about Jehovah's Witness, but I only know the things from like neighbors where there weren't a lot. But the one family, they're like, oh, they don't celebrate Halloween, they don't celebrate their birthdays.
Mother's Day,
Okay.
Father, with a pagan origin. They, even though
Oh.
actually they do like the wedding band, which is pagan in origin. So they have their, they pick and choose a bit.
Yeah. Well, how about being gay?
Oh yeah, no. In order of probably discussed in Jehovah's Witnesses, apostasy is number one. So that means somebody who's actually actively turning against religion and speaking against it. That's, if you're apostate, you will be absolutely cut off, and nobody will want to talk to you, and you're anathema. You're shit. Second would be pedophiles, and third would be gays. But
Wow.
they would say otherwise. But that's the reality.
Hmm. It sounds like the LDS church.
Yeah. Or even the what's the other crazy one? That's Scientology.
Scientology?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just think it's interesting that John Travolta and Tom Cruise are Scientologists because, you know, I think they got some things that they're working on. Uh,
Well, Serena Williams, Michael Jackson, Prince, they were all Jehovah's Witnesses.
wow.
So
Yeah. Actually, there was like someone in my English program at college who was Jehovah's Witness, and like we hung out at like a cafe, and she's like, and you're not like ashamed to be gay? And I'm like, no. And she's like, oh.
are you ashamed to be a Jehovah's Witness? They
I know.
couldn't see
I
the.
was like, I think maybe that's what I said to her. I'm like, I wouldn't ask you these questions. This is odd. Um,
But she asked that in good faith.
in
I
good
wouldn't like.
faith. No, she was trying to
Yeah,
like, she's like, I really want to care, but I really, want you to be straight. And I was like, well, that's not
but,
your decision.
right.
I don't know. I had
Yeah.
a friend who kind of, um, we've worked, well, we didn't work through it, but we've like made peace, but by just like not really talking a lot to each other. But she became like evangelical, and it was rooted in trauma. Like she has unresolved trauma that I know about, and she thought she found her place. And I'm like, this is how, in my opinion, this is how they manipulate you. It's not about religion, it's about control.
Oh, it's mixed. I mean, the leaders have all inherited the religion, so they believe it, and they don't think it's about control. They really believe that they're Jehovah's Witnesses, that God is directing the organization. They're the only true faith, but they absolutely follow the society doctrine. And if it pivots 180 degrees overnight, they just go with it. Even if it's 2
Wow.
minutes ago preaching against beards, for example, the next day beards are now good. And then my mum was going at one point, "Oh, I see, brother so and so has this beautiful beard." And I remember having a little bit of unshaven growth when I was 18, going to meeting, "Shave that off now. You can't have beard." Yeah. So, and just and they wouldn't, you're in a cult. No, no, a cult is, and then they go and tell you what a cult is. But I see the
Mm.
same with the MAGA people too. They follow the same thing. Whatever Trump says, they won't apply the same principles, say, to Biden that they apply to Trump.
Mm.
Or whatever. Or they won't apply, sorry, to Trump that they apply to Biden. Jehovah's
Yeah.
Witnesses don't apply the same things to themselves as they do to everyone else.
Uh, would you say there's a lot of MAGA in Jehovah's Witness? The spring season is here, which means there's a new issue of the Gay and Lesbian Review called Victorian Times, all about my favorite period of literature, the 19th century. And you'll see a rugged Walt Whitman on the cover and the dandy Oscar Wilde. Well, guess what? My first article is now published in the Gay and Lesbian Review called Once Upon a Time in Camden. It's the intro to my book, which looks into their queer literary relationship, but also Whitman and Wilde's homoerotic poetics, and specifically what Whitman does with male same sex desire before the category of homosexuality even existed. Like, how did he even express this in his poetry? Well, you'll have to read my book to find out. book coming soon. If you know of a publisher, let me know. I'm shopping around right now. But this Victorian issue is so special with the Gay and Lesbian Review. There's articles on Dr. Jekyll and Victor Frankenstein. I'm about to see The Bride, which I can't wait to see. And right, Guillermo del Toro's new Frankenstein is all the rage. There's an article on Monte Cristo's Women in Love, Tchaikovsky's Men. I love Tchaikovsky's ballet. I'm particularly an admirer of the Sleeping Beauty. One on Captain Cobb. There's film and TV shows reviewed like Heated Rivalry, Boots, Kiss of the Spider Woman, which, if you don't know, I had an episode with Jeremy Fox from the Gay and Lesbian Review, the managing editor, and Colin Carmen and Joseph Federico, and we talked all about Heated Rivalry. You have to listen to it. And Kiss of the Spider Woman, I keep recommending to everyone. It is an astounding film. Boots, I actually had the creator Greg Cope White on the podcast too. You'll have to listen to his interview. Also, if you haven't heard our episode on the kink issue of the magazine, it's really, really interesting. And the ethnography one. And yes, there will be an episode soon about the Victorian issue. So get your hands on the Gay and Lesbian Review. The digital subscription is really easy to get, glreview.org. The print subscription also, head on over to the website, click subscribe, use the promo code ITBR Choice. You get a free issue of the magazine. Choose the Victorian issue, will you? So head to their Instagram, their TikTok. I love the Gay and Lesbian Review. I get so many book recommendations, TV show, film recommendations. One of the films that I can't wait to watch is in this issue. I want to say it's pronounced Pillion or Pillion. I think I made it French there, with Alexander Skarsgård. So enjoy your reading, everyone. And if you're reading the Gay and Lesbian Review, please reach out to me. I want to let them know, that you all listening to this podcast are reading their magazine. Now that the spring semester is here, I am so excited to let you all know about a publisher, an independent publisher that's celebrating 40 years of great books called Broadview Press. I love Broadview Press. I have so many of their editions of classic literature like Wuthering Heights, which is coming out soon, and it's our book club choice. And they have so many academic books for instructors and for students and the general public. So I've had so many exciting guests on, from guests talking about The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, guests talking about vampire literature, horror literature. I'm looking at you, Jeffrey Andrew Weinstock, whose book actually just came out called Horror Theory. Look it up. And I cannot wait because I have two exciting guests coming on soon. And I've recorded their episode, so I know that it's going to be such an interesting conversation. The first is Rachel Tukolsky, who wrote a book called Writing on Fire, a fierce yet friendly guide to writing humanities essays in college. I've used excerpts of it for my Writing 2 course at Montclair. It has gone over so well. I just love what Rachel does. And we get into this in our episode about this metaphor about writing on fire, like how that's a great way to think about free flowing, brainstorming, creative ideas, and getting into that flow state, which, as Rachel explains, happens not just in writing, but in many other avenues. And then the other guest that I have on is David Starkey, who wrote a book called Academic Writing Now, a brief guide for busy students. It is designed to cover the basics of a college writing course in a concise, student-friendly format. Each chapter concentrates on a crucial element of composing an academic essay and is capable of being read in a single sitting, which, for a generation, myself included, I think all of us now, just consumed by digital media or just this attention grabbing technology, reading in a single sitting is definitely a plus. So head to Broadview Press, use the promo code Ivory Tower, and you'll get 20% off every single book in their collection. There's also a really cool digital library collection they have. So if you're a librarian, take a look at that. Message me. If you're a librarian, I'd be happy to show you what that new collection looks like. And I hope you all enjoy your reading.
No, they're not political. Jehovah's Witnesses don't
Oh, they're
vote.
not political at all?
But the short answer is yes. I think they think at least he's anti-abortion, and it's much like the evangelicals. They don't really
Yeah.
care what Trump, all the rest of Trump. He just takes this platform of anti-abortion, and
Yeah.
then they go, okay, he's anti-abortion, and the left isn't.
Yeah.
So therefore,
It's like some Catholic people I knew from my hometown. Like there's a range at like there's a range of Catholicism where I feel like most Catholics like are kind of not practicing
yeah,
Catholics. And then there's like some die hard because I'm at a Catholic university and most of it's very liberal. But once in a while there'll be someone who has like um so traditional values that it doesn't make
yeah,
sense in the area. Like we're right outside Manhattan. So like it's odd to even have that kind of stance
yeah,
anyway. It's like,
yeah.
okay, whatever. I don't care. If it's, it's not worth it to engage with someone who I feel is so anti-abortion. Like you're not really going to change their opinion.
No,
So
100%. I think that's what Trump's given us is why bother with these people? Why
yeah.
bother? You know, I just thought when he got voted in the second time, and obviously we're Australia, we have different politics, but that big stone in that small pond is going to ripple out and affect all of us. I just think, oh, let the shit show go until the end of it, and then you watch you all run back to rat holes and pretend you never liked Trump really anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would love to think that America doesn't have that much influence, but it
Oh,
does
it really does. So we're
have
getting
influence. Yeah.
a right wing supporter called a woman called Pauline Hanson over here. She's now on the ascendancy, and she has a similar pattern of hatred against immigrants and spoken out against trans and gay people and a loathsome woman. And she's now got more popularity than she's ever had before, and she's been around since the early
Oh,
90s.
oh, that makes me
And I
sick.
think that's a direct result of
But
Trump.
like, what's her popularity, Dallas?
Yeah, rising. I haven't looked at the latest
Oh,
polls because I don't watch news anymore. Since Trump got into power, I just can't
yeah,
watch it. I just watch news headlines these days. But
yeah.
it's growing. If she was to run an election as an independent party, she would probably end up in the opposition at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I still question if he even won and Kamala won and the who knows what
Yeah.
was going on. Because I think we should investigate what Russia was doing. But yeah, well, I'm gonna say that I was hacked, and I'm just kidding. I was revealing truth that, Trump. Well, then I just realized my podcast episode with a former prosecutor about the Epstein files just got released, and I'm like, uh-oh, they don't want to hear about the
Oh,
Epstein files.
they're on to you.
No.
I'm dying for a book ban in the US. I keep like hoping they'll do it so I can get some exposure.
Wait, you're dying for a book ban?
Yeah, Americans are banning books all over the place in libraries. I'm like, ban my book. I want to be on the list of banned books.
So all the pretty boys. I'm just kidding. No, everyone get your hands on all the pretty boys.
Well, you can, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't want that to happen to you. I don't know. I don't even think the book bans, in my opinion. I did see a really great PBS documentary about like the banned libraries and Moms for Liberty, but they're not there's so much pushback even in the South with these book bans that like in my opinion they're just all blowing off steam, these white nationalists, and they're angry because they realize they're not in the majority. It's like, yeah, we don't have the majority of the country supporting the Confederacy. Like the
Yeah,
Civil
right.
War is done. I mean, but some of
It
them
scares
still
me.
fly it. It's crazy. In New
Oh, it scares
Jersey.
really? Oh, it
Hmm.
scares me how many
Not
people
a lot of
in
people, but yeah.
it scares me how many people in the States would probably love to go back to that era, slavery and all,
That's
and would
scary.
be there in a heartbeat if they had the chance, I think.
Oh, oh, sick. Well,
Yeah.
you know, they should go to Epstein Island then. Let them all go there.
Yeah,
Leave
yeah,
us
exactly.
alone. They can all
Exactly.
pick each other off one by one like Lord of the Flies,
Yeah, yeah,
and
exactly.
we'll all be very happy. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, it was nice being in Europe because I feel like their culture, like there's just, it seems like there's peace. I mean, knock on wood. I'm like, I hope Europe doesn't get involved in this war, but who
they've
knows?
always had nationalism bubbling under there in various parts, like Germany, when they brought in all the Syrians, all other Syrians to settle there. That created a stronger right wing.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much. I think always, I don't know, Europe. I'm just reading Winston Churchill's last part of his whole thing about the Second World War. And yeah, I think always Europe's feels like it's always on the cusp of something. But yeah,
Yeah.
they're very much left wing and it's much more.
They also
Um,
follow rules better. Like Americans will be like, you know, uh, I'm not fucking listening to you. We're like,
but
in
I'll do the
Europe, they're
opposite.
like, no, we got to be in line. Like I remember in London, like when you're at the theater, everyone's like in the queue or what we would just call a line. And here, like you're lucky if someone doesn't like if someone might bump into you and it's like, okay, calm down. Like, people have their cell phones go off. I just think Americans aren't all self-aware. Like that isn't they like to be right. I don't know. I think there's an ego that happens
Well,
sometimes.
I've seen from where I sit, far away in Australia, and see Europe and the US from the same distance. I think Americans talk about freedom, the be all and end all, and they're right. But in my book, it's like Dylan has to explore what freedom actually means. His idea of freedom ends up,
Yeah.
kind of got to like. It's no such thing as true freedom. It's all very subjective. So, and it boils down to my freedom shouldn't usurp your freedom, and that's where the balance is, and that's where freedom ends. But I think a lot of Americans have in their mind that if I get told I can't do something, you're taking away my freedom. But it's never the other side. It doesn't apply to anyone else. It just applies to them. So it boils down to a
Yeah.
kind of ultimately a fairly selfish
Yeah.
culture
Yeah.
numerically overall. Not obviously it's me.
Individual, like individuality, but individuality that like becomes self-centered. Like that to me is the run of capitalism. It's like even though Europe is capitalist, well, no, I is Europe
Yeah, it is. But
social? Well, some have more socialism policies,
yeah, but in the end,
but
it's a good balance. Like you can't have one thing or another. You can't have.
yeah,
It's just somewhere in the bad, and they're always trying to find the middle balance. But ultimately, yes, they have capitalism, but there are certain rules attached. And
yes, yes,
you can have freedom, but there's also a respect because they've seen what happens if people don't follow the rules. So they realize that rules should be followed for order. And I think maybe America, as a younger culture, is still trying to work out exactly what that means and how they apply it. And
yeah, yeah. I
Australia's,
mean, I would say like the most toxic thing in America is the workplace culture. Like
oh,
you're
really?
on vacation and not me particularly, but you're on vacation and like say there's an emergency and this actually just happened and there's a blizzard here and I'm in Madrid, so our flight gets canceled with my husband and I after my conference. And I'm like, "Oh, I'll do the work remotely." And someone actually gave me pushback and he's like, "No, you have to be here in person." And I'm like, "There's a blizzard." Like, what do you expect me to do? Do a Devil Wears Prada, like get on a plane? Like,
Yes.
no. Like I still can work remotely. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're there's ways to do certain things. And I think some are still trying to hold on to this traditional like um we can't pivot to what's easier. For I don't know, I believe in a hybrid model, like what we're doing here but also being in person.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. You can't. It's culturally entrenched. It's really hard, and it feels like it's almost childish. Like you must be here so I can watch you and monitor you, and
yeah.
see how many times you go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the best part is, and if this person's listening, which probably not, but yeah, maybe they will. Um, we were able to come up with a compromise, which is what's good. But I think that it's not this person, it's like coming higher up apparently, but that we would if we can't be there in person, our students have to be in class in person. Okay. And then we can be on Zoom. I'm like, wait, so I'm on Zoom. It's like if I was here, all my students would be in class. And I'm like, that doesn't exactly, you know what it is? I think they're like afraid that the students aren't going to be adults. Like it's almost like they're not giving the students agency. And it's like, well, if a student wants to do well in college, they need to, you take initiative. It's not high school.
Oh, and you got their money, so like, who cares if they turn up? Really?
I don't know. I mean, well, a part of it actually, I think, is money, is universities that are higher in America are trying to justify their tuition instead of those parents taking their children to state schools.
Yeah, probably.
And it's
Oh,
like, well, maybe lower your tuition
yeah.
and, you'll still be able to, um, because the higher tuition doesn't necessarily mean that you, the faculty, get paid higher. It actually is the opposite, which is very odd,
Well, not in
depending on the
American, but
universities. But um, yeah. So basically, though, like I'm curious how, you being in the sex industry and you were very open about it. I mean, like even before I met you, I could, you're open about your experience in writing, but I think that there's a misconception, or maybe there isn't. Like, do you feel that people stereotype, like, if they've heard that you were in the sex industry? Like, when you were working that banking job, I'm assuming that wasn't what you said to everyone.
Welcome to Severed, a podcast week dropping new episodes every Monday. Severed True Crime and Severed Paranormal episodes deep dive into murder, mysteries, and the otherworldly in a concise format. A 7-minute story to frame the case with thoughtful analysis and our usual banter.
We sometimes find the lighter side of darker cases. We offer 3 spin-off shows, Severed Strange Stories, Severed Haunted You, and Severed Serial Killers that highlight the unusual to lighthearted topics from the digital dumpsters of true crime, haunted universities, and the minds of madness like Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer.
We are your co-hosts. I'm Harry Chambers.
And I'm Drew Hudson. Listen on all major podcast platforms, including Rogue Media Network and Radio Garden State. Follow us on Instagram at severed_podcast.
Are you a fan of classic Hollywood movies?
Are you a fan of queer cinema?
Then do we have the podcast for you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Christian Garcia.
And I'm Luke Delmar.
And we are your hosts of That Old Gay Classic Cinema, where we take a look at some of the greatest films of all time and analyze them through a queer theoretical lens.
Let's be honest. LGBTQIA+ people have been a part of Hollywood since its inception, and this podcast celebrates those artists and entertainers of yesteryear, while also taking a closer look at the queer-coded characters and stories in classic Hollywood films long before queer representation entered the mainstream.
So follow us down the road of classic cinema as we give you a guide to some of the films that touched our hearts, brains, and even gave us courage to be ourselves.
You can listen to That Old Gay Classic Cinema wherever you get your podcasts, and be sure to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok.
All right, listeners, we're ready for our close-up.
Like,
No,
I was
said
in the sex industry.
No, what I said was I worked, and only when I was sort of fairly entrenched and comfortable, I just said I worked in a sex shop, which was true. I worked for
Yeah.
a chain called Club X for 2 years. And I did it way longer than I was actually selling myself, because the money was way better. And that's why I was at the time looking for money equals freedom.
Yeah.
So I was happy about that. But then I began relegating the actual sex work to the past, and to the point that I'd almost forgotten about it myself. And I was distancing the memory because there was so much shame attached to that, and and association. And yeah, there's only really after I read the book, and even then, not immediately. I even denied that I actually did any sex work when I first. But as I said, I guess as I'm nearing retirement, I don't give a fuck as anywhere near as much. And now I'm pretty open about the reality. And I wasn't in it for a long time. I did live with. I had a flatmate who was doing it for like a year, and that's kind of one of the questions you talked about earlier was about this. I was thinking about how it was the rung. It's like a ladder, and I was myself. I would have done street-based work, and the next step up would be agency work. In the States, there's probably another step again, which is sex work in bars. We don't really have that culture in Australia, so it's street work, agency work, kept boy. You find a rich client, and that was most people who were going to stay in the industry. That was their goal. Yeah, and I did the first two, and then I was approached by a director to kind of be a kept boy. But then I realized.
Oh my God, that's funny. Because do you know Dale Corvino?
No,
he wrote the memoir called Afterlife of a Kept Boy. I had him on.
Really?
Well, his episode is out by now when this comes out, but yeah, I'll have to send it to you, Dallas, because he met this like sugar daddy on the Upper East Side, and that's a whole other keeping an older man company.
Yeah, and and again, I was trying to look at like sex work in the bigger picture for everybody. And my dad married two Filipino women. And I mean, he was 66 when he married his 33-year-old last bride. I mean, you can't tell me she was in it for love. But there might have been a certain level of like and companionship, but there was certainly a transactional thing. But was she a prostitute? And I kind of wanted to, if you have to do sex for food, is that prostitution? Or, if you have to do sex for safety, is that prostitution? So I wanted to explore a little bit of that in the book in a way.
Yeah. I mean, was your dad's like libido that high when he was 66?
Well, he's on Viagra because I've found some.
Okay.
So yes and no. Well, there's a tension. Maybe doesn't without the blue pills, but he's always a horny, up guy.
I was actually thinking recently when I was seeing the musical Death Becomes Her about like, when am I going to need Viagra? And like, I know you have to be like around, like interested. Like it doesn't, like your dick doesn't just swell up with blood.
Pump it up. And you've got to get the feeling first. So I don't know. It's not.
I mean, hey, I'm sure eventually I'll be doing it. I mean, it's pretty normalized for guys.
100%, and no shame too. I don't like people shaming for that reason, because it can be just also a party drug, and in a way, and who cares? It's not doing anyone else any harm.
Well, that's something like in the sex industry, like, well, porn actors are definitely take Viagra.
You'd have to, I imagine.
I mean, I don't.
Well, there wasn't back then. It wasn't that in the day. But I was a twink in the time, so I wasn't really called upon to top much, so it wasn't a problem.
Yeah, that wasn't your you weren't that didn't have to perform in that way, we'll say. Well, do you feel like, because in the public, I feel like everyone has this like Pretty Woman, like romanticized version. Like, does that actually exist where someone falls in love with like their client?
I don't know. I mean, I don't ever saw it like that. But I imagine it possibly could, but probably, most likely very much not. It's more likely the client would fall in love with the person, and that was why the kept boy thing, or even, kept woman thing would be a thing, and why some straight guys, obsess about a certain prostitute. But I don't think it's healthy, and it's also projecting fantasy, and it's not based on reality. And I think 1 in a million might turn up to be a genuine love thing, but honestly, I don't think it's reality. And that was quite sanitized. I mean, obviously, that's super sanitized Pretty Woman, but I did love it still, because at least it was a humanized. She's humanized as a sex
she's
worker,
not like
also
disrespected.
No, but she's also
she is when she's shopping, but that's a different thing.
It's just women being bitches.
But no, I had a friend who was stripping in college, and I thought it was so like how open
You're
about it
very
she was. I thought it was amazing, but also I got worried for her just from stories she told me about like, oh yeah, this guy's stalking me and he has a wife,
mm.
but he loves me. And I'm like, have you ever gone out with him outside the strip club? And she's like, no, that's his fantasy, but I let him think that so I get money. And I was like, this sounds like it could get dangerous quickly. But
Yeah. And that's the danger in sex work is a bit of that. Mostly for women, I think. For men, the balance is very different. You got men and men. So a guy can generally defend himself, and most of the guys who worked the wall, for example, in agencies were fit, so they weren't. The threat wasn't. But for women, I think it's very real.
oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because yeah, straight men too. Straight men, gay men. I think we come into sex, maybe not obviously not when we first come out, but then we're quickly inducted into all walks of gay and demystified. Most of it's demystified, and it's not nearly as much stuff attached to that bad stuff. But for straight people, they live in this very square type of walls, moral walls that are built around them by the community. And if you break them, you can do it. Lots of people do like swingers and sex clubs and stuff, but
Yeah.
they're in the minority by
Which
far.
exists. Yeah. Yeah.
But when I went in the sex shop, I mean, gosh, the amount of clients I both served and had because
Who
they
were
come in
straight,
single women.
right? Like you had a lot of
Yeah,
straight clients.
it was a straight club, a straight
Oh,
sex shop. So
yeah.
they're all straight. Yeah, and they, yeah, spicing up the sex lives, but they also see the darker fantasies, and it's just very restricted as a straight person.
Yeah.
They don't have the luxury that we do as gay people generally, I
Yeah.
think.
I mean, were you like interested when like men were starting to question, like be curious, or was it more like they were just curious? Like, did you ever meet seemingly straight guys who are curious about being with a guy?
All the time, but then
Oh,
so they're so horned up they need to get blown usually, or and muck around, do something, touch another guy. But the moment it's done, you're out, and you see the wall come up, and they're no longer, once they've blown their load, they just go back to, and then the shame comes in, and sometimes that's where the homophobia comes through because they're so ashamed that it swings the other way, and then they want to bash a gay because they would really want to
mm.
bash the gay out of themselves. But
Yeah. It's like the Queer as Folk episode. Did you see
I saw
when,
quite.
yeah,
Sorry.
like Justin gives head to like the guy, his like classmate who like then becomes homophobic? Yeah.
The Jimmy Somerville, small town boy, well, Bronski Beat video clips all about that. For example, he gets checked out by a guy at the pool, and the guy and his mates end up bashing him. But clearly, the
Mm.
guy's
Yeah.
the guy has a penchant for
Yeah.
men.
Yeah. Like Shia LaBeouf,
Yeah,
allegedly.
yeah,
Something's
yeah,
going on with him and Mark Wahlberg because, yeah.
yeah.
No, it's true though. Like, yeah, I mean, there could just be like straight men I've met who they're not, I feel like the majority are pretty secure. Again, secure in quotes, but yeah, there's some straight guys who like just don't want to like mess, like even be friends really with gay people because they don't really connect. But I wouldn't say it's homophobic. I would just say it's more like you're either really secure and you want to like be friends, or you know, are still trying to like please society in some straight fantasy, which
Yeah,
sounds
young,
boring
young,
as hell.
yeah, right.
It's not
Yeah, I think that's
fun.
no,
Yeah.
can't be
I was
fun.
just talking with my straight guy friend who I exercise with about like, I was like, oh, have you ever met like straight couples who are like, oh, I want to, like, I'm a swinger. And he's like, no, that's like under the surf. Like, no one really openly talks about it. Like, you have to find those communities, right? Or, right, that's why
Yeah.
some go to the like Caribbean resorts or cruise
Oh, really?
ships. So they can just like, hang that pineapple upside down. Hey.
I never saw that, but wow,
Oh,
yeah.
really? That's what they, yeah, yeah. Well, I know on gay cruises, which my husband and I would have like the monogamous symbol. I don't know what that would be. Um, a picket fence. No.
I was gonna
Um,
be padlock on your door.
but like I know when Kathy Griffin did her stand up and she was on a cruise, she's like, they have this symbol, that symbol, like this means, a threesome, but two guys are getting sucked and the other guy's getting fucked. It was like, okay.
That's so particular. I thought we had
Very
headsheets for that.
particular. The otter, is gonna
Yeah,
be getting head. Like, yeah, everything is like a instead of fantasy football, it's like sex positions on a cruise.
yeah. It's like time's limited. We want to know exactly what you're into, so we don't waste our time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, when you talk about the red light district, like, is this similar to other? I mean, red light district, I think of Amsterdam images, but like, how much of this is a gayborhood? Like, when you were there in the '90s, like, was this a gayborhood in Sydney?
Nearby, so the wall, for example, is
Yeah.
actually technically Darlinghurst, but it's just a short walk from King's Cross, and Darlinghurst Road passes through King's Cross and goes all the way to Oxford Street. So that area was, but also it was, and then obviously the Oxford Street is a famous Mardi Gras strip, and it used to be a very famous gay strip. Now it's a pastiche, a really poor pastiche of its former self,
It's
sadly. But then,
touristy.
oh no, not even that. It's just
Oh, it's
tragic
not
now.
even like Bourbon Street in New Orleans.
No, oh no,
Oh,
no, not no. This it's been really neglected, and the gay bars have closed down because of various reasons. The internet mostly. There's still some there, obviously, but it's just not like the heartland it used to be. And it's been migrating. Like the first gay bar that I know of in King's Cross, I will do the history search of it, but it was the Bottoms Up Bar. It was one of the oldest ones,
mm,
um, and that was where that's where the gay scene started, was King's Cross, and then it migrated through Sydney up to Darlinghurst, and eventually ended up in Long Oxford Street, and then extended beyond there. And now it's sort of moving slightly away from Oxford Street down like Crown Street, where there's more gay cafes, but the culture's more less based around the bars like it used to be, and it's still a
yeah.
very gay area. Like that is very much a gay neighborhood. There's also King's Cross was a dangerous kind of gay neighborhood, but you wouldn't walk holding hands down the street because that's where the sex tourists come, and they're often homophobic because it's a straight area.
Oh, wow.
But you would also, but you could be gay or look like two guys walking down the street would be okay. But if you held hands, that's one step too far. So
Oh,
it's not that gay. And even Oxford Street, yeah, which is what was a gay street, or still technically is a gay street. You could hold hands, but you just probably going to get a beer can thrown at you, or somebody going faggots as they go past.
oh.
Still, even now.
Wait, even now?
Oh yeah, because it's a microcosm. And outside of that, outside of Sydney, like especially the western suburbs, it's fairly still old school,
Wow.
homophobic. It's better than it used to be, but like people just generally don't care these days that much. But there's
Yeah.
still still homophobia is still rife, and there's still bashings, that kind of thing. And people would
Yeah.
come into Oxford Street to bash a gay. They just have tourist buses, football clubs, party buses rather. They'd go on a bus and get all maggoted up. You could hear the music would be going, and they'd just cruise up and down Oxford Street going, "Fucking faggots,"
Oh
and
my
throwing beer
gosh.
at us.
Oh
And that's
wait,
it.
Dallas. Sorry. My like groceries just got delivered. I'll be like
Oh
right
no,
back. Is that okay?
absolutely. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
That was some elevator music on. I thought,
Um, well, yeah, I was reminded in a good way, like Dallas is actually um has a pseudonym. So like where did this J Castelletti come from? Very Italian. I like it, by the way. Very North Jersey, Long Island,
my
Brooklyn.
grandfather.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
No, I was
No,
gonna
my
say like a
grandfather.
Brooklyn name.
Yeah, yeah. No, grandfather was from Italy, but he died when my dad was two. So
Oh,
his
wow.
mum married a Robertson. So I guess the name was dead in our family. I wanted to resurrect it.
I
And my
love
mum's
that.
maiden name was J.Y. So I just took her maiden name, which she'd lost when she got married, and combined it with my dead grandfather's name.
No,
So the
it
names are
keeps it
resurrected.
alive. Yeah.
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 And I
You
didn't
keep it
want to
alive
want to
in this
wave the
literary
flag,
way. Yeah.
but and I wasn't sure about the topic and how it work with the company I work for, if they'd be funny about it. So I thought I'll just use a pseudonym for the writing, for the fiction writing,
Yeah.
especially this topic.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, um, yeah, it's interesting, right? Because it can also create like a mystique and excitement, when you have like you're able to have your family legacy live on in an interesting way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting is a key word there, but yeah, I guess and I loved using it because I was for a little bit contemplating reverting, like changing my name
Mm.
to Castelletti at some point when I was in my early 20s, but Then I saw the paperwork involved, and I'm like, oh, fuck that.
Wait, where in Italy was your grandfather from?
A town called Castorano,
Okay.
which I think he's probably migrated there and then married like a lady, a Chiccoli, which is from that area. So that name Castelletti comes from Lombardy, a different region. So we think they
That's
migrated.
northern, right?
Uh, yeah, do you know what? I'm not really that familiar with provinces of
I know.
Italy.
I'll have to look it up. Just because, like, some of my ancestry, my dad's side, they were from like the bottom, the like Calabria. I don't
Oh
think
yeah,
though. There's a lot of New York and New Jersey Italians who are from like either the southern part of Italy or Sicily. And like the debate is whether or not Sicilians are Italian.
of course they are.
I know.
Oh yeah,
It gets debated.
not a debate I'm ready to go into, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I think it's fine. But yeah, Lombardy. Or wait, I'm typing Lombardy. But wait, what was the name of the town?
Oh, Castorano, Casto, Castora.
Oh, Castorano. Okay.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
a village.
oh, okay. Oh no,
He
I
came out
have to
of
like
Australia in 1926, so before the wave, a mass wave of migration after the Second World War of Italians to Australia. But he was in one of probably the second wave. I think the late 1800s brought a lot of Italians out to the goldfields of Western Australia. That was the
well,
first wave.
that's true, right? Isn't that like if I think of the history of Australia, well, first, the indigenous communities, just like here. But
Yes,
then you had
the
like
colonial.
the prisons and the
Well,
gold
Western Australia,
rush.
Western Australia. Well, Australia's a big continent, so there was
Yeah.
Sydney was settled as a penal colony, and Hobart, Tasmania, and then Western Australia was a third city settled, and it was settled as a free society actually. And
Mm.
just when the rest of Australia was doing away with convicts, Western Australia's economy was stagnating. So that's when we changed our policy and brought in convicts for the first time. So Western Australia became a convict state for about 20 years
Oh
before it
wow.
stopped it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
And the
okay.
gold,
So
Victorian gold too. The Victorian gold rush was a lot of alluvial gold. And then Western Australia found gold about 25 years later. And then so a lot of those people had come to Victoria migrated across to Western Australia to participate in that gold rush.
yeah, yeah. I remember like studying Victorian literature. There's some Australian writers, or like British who went, like, of course, who like migrated to Australia and then, um, that kind of exploration or, um, the influence. I mean, it's kind of like South Africa. I mean, in a South Africa on a small scale, but,
Yeah.
like I always remember, um, the like, do you remember the Secret Garden?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
And all it's like where everyone basically dies except her and she has to live with her uncle. It's like horrible. Oh, it's in India. Um in India and like her everyone dies from contamination or something. I don't it's very
been a while. Yeah.
it's very dark. And then she's like by herself and then they're like, "Oh, okay, you'll live with this, you know, uncle." And then yeah, but I feel like like how is Australia now, like with recognizing the indigenous community?
We took a backward step because they were the Labor government's the equivalent to the Democrats. They tried to introduce an Indigenous voice to Parliament, so it was harmless in that they were just going to seek represent like anything Indigenous related instead of white man making rules for black people. They had a voice in Parliament where they could recommend things, and then the Parliament, mostly non-Indigenous people, would then vote on the recommendations by Aboriginal people. It's really fucking simple. But of course, the Murdoch press got involved, and actually, at the beginning of that, like a third of Australians were opposed, two-thirds were for it. And by the end of the cycle of the Murdoch, news cycle,
Yeah.
he's very strong, influential in Australia, where he comes from. It swung the other way, so two-thirds voted against it, and one-third voted for it.
Wow.
So that could have been helpful. And there was all sorts of divisive issues, like how can you get representatives? Because the Indigenous people, it's a lot of variation between Indigenous people across Australia as there were across North America. They were saying you can never get a united voice, and they were just dividing, using that differences of Aboriginal people to divide the whole nation against that whole voice. And people were lazy. They're saying, oh, it's, I don't know. The general public was the government should give us more information about it. And I just remember having a conversation with a woman saying, hang on, what do you mean? I said, let me look it up. And within 30 seconds, I said, oh, I've got the information here. I said, I've seen your doom scroll rather, on Facebook for hours.
Yeah.
And it took me 2 minutes to find out. So you could have just found out yourself. And it's,
and they believe with this, that some people just believe social media without having any critical thinking. It just astounds me.
Murdoch did the same thing with same-sex marriage here when it was introduced 8 years ago. He just did a massive campaign against it, of course, and I was shocked. I really thought it wouldn't get through because of that.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I think most Australians' experience with gay people has been benign, harmless, fun, good. So it went through regardless. He did lower at the beginning of the debate. Support for gay or same-sex marriage was stronger, and by the end of it, it was lower, but it was still 2/3 for.
Well, that's still good.
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of like America. I think our support of same-sex marriage is like 70%.
Is it really? Yeah. So
there's always like that 30%. I'm like, who are these?
Yeah.
But
Church.
yeah. The Jehovah's Witnesses. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to have the Jehovah's Witnesses come after me.
They don't. They're not like the Scientologists.
The Scientologists. You got to be careful. I give Leah Remini credit. She went full throttle against them.
She was brave, honestly. That's, she had a lot to lose. They could have just, she's so brave, far out.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like, as we're wrapping up, this is so fascinating. I want everyone to read your book because I feel like the way that you don't know whether or not Dylan is going to, just how he's going to make it out there it truly is a coming of age, but it also feels more than just coming of age. It's also having to do this, being forced to make it happen. Yeah. There is no way that it's not going to happen.
Yeah. And when I came out, I had no idea what the ending was going to be either. For me, and I went through obviously a lot of those stages and faced ostracism, and I had to survive. I lived with two murderers. One murder, I dated a murderer.
Wow.
And he left me for a guy and then murdered the guy 9 months later.
Oh my God.
And I lived with a guy who was actually murdered somebody 3 weeks before he moved in with my flatmate and I.
Oh wow.
And that came out only in 2009 through a cold case. So I was living a fairly dangerous existence. And I didn't know it was going to end either. I thought Armageddon, because even though I'd left the Jehovah's Witnesses, I still believed it in my heart. Yeah. It's still the true religion. So I was waiting any day for Armageddon to come. So I thought, if I'm going to die, I might as well go hard and die fun. So I didn't know. So I was just living day to day and thinking, this could be my last day on Earth, so I might as well fucking just live it. But when that's
the podcast title. I was waiting for Armageddon to come. That's like a movie.
As well as and the novel's pace, I've been criticised somewhat for not going deep emotionally, but when I was going, it parallels how I felt coming out and entering that world, such a different world where I'd come from. I had no time to think through what's happening. I just, it was just instinct and survival instinct to maybe push to the limit, but not all the way down. And I was living in double time because I thought I was going to die any minute from Armageddon or something. So I was just living in double time. And so I was running. So when I was 49, for the year I turned 40, from 49 to 50, I wrote an autobiography. That's the wanky word, a memoir. For no one to read. I sort of blow out my memories. It was 165,000 words. And that's the first time I came face to face with those 3 years. And I realized they were almost lost years because I had to really go on the internet and date things according to when songs came out. When I'd gone to a theatre show.
Wow.
I had to go back and really delve to piece it all together because it was so fragmented.
That's amazing. That's a cool process, though.
It was in the end. And it was cathartic, too. That's how I first started to live with the idea that, shit, this is real. And am I ashamed of sex work? No, fucking no. Yeah, and not just defiantly no. Like, why should I be? Why? I feel like in some ways I lift up my skirt more as a flight attendant, not literally, but compromising my principles to kind of keep the public at bay more than I was as a sex worker. So, I just
Oh, so you're saying I shouldn't? My mom had this idea that my husband and I should become flight attendants.
oh, I wouldn't do it in America, God, because you guys just
No, just with the
no,
customers.
no.
Oh,
Customers are what you make of them. To be honest, I mean, I think it's if you come out really great, they quickly fall in. If you come out like an asshole, then you're going to breed assholes in the public. So I don't.
yeah,
The least trouble I have is with customers.
yeah.
Most trouble I have is with other crew members.
Why?
But no,
That's weird. Wait, why other crew members?
because it's another industry where it draws quite eccentric people. Like you have to have a fairly high social EQ, but then it draws some of the crazies, and they're really, most part they're really great people, cabin crew.
Yeah,
Really by far by the most part.
yeah.
But then
I'm also
even
assuming it's pretty exhausting.
yeah, because I just do domestic. I don't do international flying, and there's 3 hour up to 3 hour time differences within Australia. So yeah, sometimes trying to like I have to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, in say Sydney to fly back to
Oh my
Perth and arrive at
goodness.
7 a.m. in Perth.
Well, no
Um,
wonder some flight attendants are grumpy. They're exhausted.
I mean, yeah, but still, you got to, it's an acting role. I mean, it's a
Oh,
safety role, I suppose.
there was a grumpy person. When I had a coat and my husband wasn't sitting next to me, so I was gonna walk over, give him the coat, and have him put it like above him. And I get up and I don't realize the seatbelt sign is still on. And she's like, "Sir, the seatbelt sign's on." I was like, "Oh, okay. Thank you."
I guess. Oh yeah, she might have been a fourth flight for the day, and it's your first flight, your first and only flight. Maybe it's your first flight ever.
I'm
Um,
relaxed. Yeah.
yeah, she's done four, and she's had to get up to the safety demo, do this, change aircraft 4 times, change
She's
pilots
just,
3 times.
yeah, that's crazy.
She's
That's tiring. Wait, you
yeah.
could do 4 flights in a day? I thought you only do one a day.
Oh God, we wish. I bid for that type of flying where I can only just do one there and have 24 hours somewhere and come back. That's your dream. But no, you can do. My husband worked for Virgin, a cheaper airline, and they were doing 5 a day and cleaning the aircraft between it. At least with my airline, we have, we just stand back and let the cleaners clean, and we just get on and do our stuff.
Wow.
But it can be exhausting because we do a full service at Qantas. Even on a 54-minute flight, we'll do in business, and I do business class because I'm the onboard manager, and we'll do full, wines and gin and tonics and stuff while we give you a choice of salad or a hot meal and bread and tea and coffee and then clear, all in a 54-minute top to bottom
Wow.
flight.
This
So
might be
yeah,
a hot topic, or a hot opinion. I would rather like have the flight cost less and
yeah,
add on food and drinks. I mean, water is one thing, but like, if you don't drink alcohol, then I wish there was like just a way to like upgrade stuff so that way we can keep the cost lower. But,
well, it's called first. You do first class in the States for that. In Australia, the bare minimum for the airline I work for is that you will get a food and drink product on every single flight we do, regardless of the time. And we do a 25-minute flight between Sydney and Canberra. Well,
oh no, they're
24
gonna
hours.
like the flight attendants nowadays, they'll hit you with their car because they got to get that food out. I was like,
Oh yeah.
whoa. And then once someone's in the aisle, you're not getting around them.
Our nickname's cookie chuckers, because they're just like.
Yeah. That's like
Have you
whenever
got
oh no, sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh, no, I was going to say sometimes you get some Americans who are not that clued up about the distances, and you're like, "Would you like a coffee? I'll have it later." And you're like, "There is no later. You've got to have it now."
Well, I feel like well, my husband always says he gets tomato juice because he said that it tastes different in that altitude.
Oh yeah, it's probably true because I think I've heard that you lose 40% of your taste buds in the air due to the altitude,
Oh, really?
which is why
Wow.
the meals are quite salty, to make up for the lack of
Oh
taste.
my God, I had one of the I either have really good meals or I'll have
Yeah,
like something really good on the tray and then the other thing I'm like I didn't want this key lime sorbet, whatever. This, I was like, what? Or they gave us a salad with spicy dressing. And I'm like, that's a
oh, yeah.
bold choice.
Oh, we're serving like one of our meals in economy is beans, eggs, onion and capsicum. I mean, this is just Fartsville, and you've got pressurized cabin, with all sorts of things happening internally, and then they feed you something that's just going to fuel that. So I don't get the thinking behind that sometimes.
Yeah. Well, is that why first class is so expensive? Because you get the best food?
Oh, well, no.
No.
Definitely not the best food. It's more the experience and the lead up, and you got access to the lounges beforehand.
Yeah.
My airline's known for its on-time performance. I mean, there's always going to be haters of all airlines, but yeah,
Yeah.
the full experience
Oh,
that
the
people pay
lounge
for.
is nice. I go to the lounge now,
Oh, nice, yeah.
with my husband's credit card for United, and I was like, I don't even feel like I'm in the airport. I'm like, I could just stay here for another 5 hours. I'm like, this is nice.
Yeah, right. So when
But
you get on
then there
board,
were
hopefully,
some people just drinking and drinking, and I'm like, and she went on our plane, and then they had to delay us for 3 hours because she was causing a disturbance. I was like, oh great. I was like,
I'm
maybe
really.
stop the drink, like stop them. I don't, just saying.
Oh yeah, they've all got a responsible service of alcohol. We have to have a certificate to prove it, and we're
Yeah,
not allowed to serve the person at the point of intoxication, nor board them. So I have
yeah.
offloaded many a drunk, and because they think they just get tips as they like in the lounge and then stagger onto the flight. But I'm just like, turn around, mister, and off you go. You're not coming on board. No, I'm not fucking drunk, mate. You're like, yeah, well, I can smell you from here, and you're 3 feet away. So yeah, you are.
Wait, have you ever seen Bridesmaids and she's like
Oh,
took something like they her or that jealous friend gave her something and she's like mixing pills without liquor or wine?
yeah, yeah. And then she loses the plot.
She's like, there's a woman on
The wing.
the wing. She's like, there's a little woman. I was like, it's funny, but it's also like, yeah, you're gonna be well, like Charlie's Angels, I know they're on this huge flight. Like, I don't know, once in my life, I want to be on one of those flights where there's like a staircase. I'm like, how do you get on that
Oh,
plane?
747. Oh, the A380, they've got one. So uh, Middle Eastern Airlines. If you have to come to Australia just to get on the aircraft that's got the stairs. So the A380 and no one's flying the 747 anymore, passenger jet, but that's about the only plane you can do the stairs.
Yeah. But like, I'm assuming, yeah, on a flight like that, there's more room. It's similar to like being on a train, not in the same way, but like when I take a train to like Boston, you're on the like there's a food car, there's like, lounges, like it's a little more relaxed than like a commuter train, you know.
Yeah, I've
Different,
done
different.
Emirates to Europe, and they have in business class, and they have a bar section. So you leave your seat and just go down. They've actually literally got a bar and a
Mm.
flight attendant serving, and you get this lounges around there. So yeah, it's
Oh,
nice.
nice. Yeah, no, I was when I lived on Long Island, I would go on this ferry to Connecticut and it was only an hour ride and they had like a food court and I'm like, I don't think we need 3-course meals. I was like, this is an hour. Like there's a little
Yeah.
overkill too sometimes. I'm like, okay. But yeah, like even actually I have to say on this United flight, I was like, I'm done with food. Please stop. Like they were giving me too much stuff.
You're like a
Like,
battery chicken, aren't you? Just waiting, just getting stuffed up.
yeah, well, we leave at after this disruptive woman, we leave at no, then they had to fix the bathrooms. Then they had to wait for someone to sign paperwork. Then they had to refuel the plane because of how long this had been
Mm.
going on. And then we finally get off. It's 11 at night. They put the lights full blast on and start with food. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
I know we do a red eye from Perth to Sydney, Brisbane, and Melbourne, and yeah, we serve a full hot meal with the lights not on full though; it's on dim at least. But yeah, I
Oh,
don't
yeah, no, this
understand.
was full. This was like great. Oh, yeah, it was interesting. But no, I'm a red eye person. But yeah. So, what are you really like hoping, what would make you most excited from your readers? Like what do you feel you want them to just take away from from your novel and the story you provide?
I think various things. An older reader um, won't have gone through the same things that my character or myself has gone through, but they relate to a lot of the stuff surrounding that. And
Mm,
if it helps give them peace knowing that they weren't alone in some of that stuff, then that's a big takeaway for me.
yeah.
I think also just the book's really about sex workers and others, people, the detritus of society, they're real people and they're doing real jobs. There's some trauma associated with sex work, but probably no more than your job or my job as a flight attendant, to be honest. All jobs come with some level of stress and trauma, maybe more accentuated in sex work. But to see everybody is real. So I'm very conscious when I'm, say, going through this on Bali at the moment, as we discussed earlier. The staff there, they're quite, they almost bow every time you get past, and it galls me. I hate that classism. So I always make sure I say hello to all the cleaners when they come on board my aircraft, the cleaners here, wait staff, just as real people. They're real people, they have real lives, and sex workers are no different. So if people could just see everybody generally as in that way. And the other thing from my book was never stop burning the candle of hope. It's a little easy, but I really think we don't know always what we're living for. And it may not be anything too super spectacular, but if you've got a candle of hope burning, it just gets you through. There's no situation that you can't get through. Obviously, Dylan, at one point, his candle goes out for 5 minutes, and I felt that too. I've been on, I made a suicide attempt when I was in my late 20s, so I know what that feels like. But just keep that going, because that's what's going to get you through day to day, get you through any situation, and that's probably
Absolutely.
that might be the biggest takeaway, actually.
I mean, that's a powerful takeaway. Well, Jay, Dallas, how can everyone get their hands on all the pretty boys?
It's on Amazon. Currently I'm looking for. I've actually been with a film company talking about getting it made into a series at the moment. So, and got really good feedback.
Oh, great!
I'm working on that at the moment. Otherwise, just through Amazon of any country you belong to, and you get paperback, hardback, or ebook. If you're with the Kindle Unlimited program, it's a free book effectively. I get paid per page. Every time you turn a page, I'll get 1 cent. So
oh, that's great. Okay, so just keep turning pages.
Yeah, if you've never read it, just flick through to the end so I can get a handful of dollars. No, obviously it's not the sales I care about. Like the money, that's irrelevant to me. It's just getting the readers, and I love. And if you like the book, and even if you don't, I just love the feedback too. If you do write something on Amazon, I just love that, because it's a real learning curve for me too. Some of the criticism has been fair, it's helping me as a writer, because I've got 3 sequels ready to go as well.
Oh, nice.
But not following different characters from the book, so it's a kind of a universe, like the Tales of the City story universe.
Yeah. Well, also on social media, like which social media can people follow you at?
Honestly, I'm not really. I've got Instagram, but I hardly even go into it. It's not my favorite. And I've got a Facebook page and a Twitter page or X page, but I don't really post a lot. Sorry, because it's not that. I don't know. You got to sell yourself, and I just don't know.
Yeah. Well, maybe this will get you to be on Instagram more. And
maybe,
Wait, what are you on Instagram? You're Jay Castelletti, right?
Yeah. So I've got a Jay Castelletti page on Facebook and X as well.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I don't. I mean, you can follow, but I don't post a lot. But I do post from time to time.
Okay, well, we'll make sure that, basically the biggest thing is just to make sure that everyone knows about all the pretty boys and, can have this beautiful cover following them. But yeah, Dallas, this was such a good time. I loved it.
Thank you for taking the time. It was really lovely for you to approach me.
No, you're welcome. Yeah. And, anytime I've had a guest on from Australia, let's just say if you have to do US and like Northeast and Australian business, you either have late at night or way early in the morning.
And I didn't realize, because it came up on my calendar as 9 o'clock this morning in Bali. And I'm like, wait, it's 10. And I Googled, and you guys did daylight savings yesterday.
Yeah, that daylight savings. Great stuff.
I run from that breakfast buffet back to the hotel in time.
Yeah. I don't, daylight savings, that takes me to a whole other topic that I don't want to kvetch about right now. But, well, thank you, Dallas. And everyone out there, make sure, all the pretty boys reach out, to me if, you want to get in touch with Dallas. And I know, especially if you're a writer, Dallas, I'm sure would love to talk with you.
Oh, for sure. Anyway, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, Dallas. I hope you have a good, morning for you, night for me. Yeah.
I've got another massage lined up from somewhere in Seminyak. But...
Oh, Everyone needs I swear, if everyone had a massage, they'd be so much more relaxed. But
The world would be 50% more peaceful for sure.
yeah, self-care is important. Well, thank you, Dallas. I'll see you. So good talking with you.
You too, Andrew. Take
Okay.
care.
Bye. Bye.